Hello and welcome to Unwind Sessions, where right after my shift I give the highlights of my workday and answer any questions that might have been asked at a previous session. My name is Juan. I am an English, Spanish, medical video remote consecutive interpreter with over 4 years of experience. Today is June 1st, 2021. I took a total of 31 sessions today. Like always, a mix between phone sessions and video sessions, more video sessions than actual phone sessions, I believe, today. And I have a lot of highlights to talk about today. It was a very eventful day. Some of them have to do with interpreting, other are just nice things that happened to me today, and I want to share with you. And one of our viewers asked a question, so I'm gonna be addressing her, addressing her question today. So let's get to it. The first thing that happened today is that the first session I ever had, it was a video session, and there was horrible audio, like bad, 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 bad. It was very bad. It sounded like white noise. If you don't know what white noise is, it's like that static on TV that they used to have before. I don't know if digital TV still have it. I don't have a TV, but yeah, it's that little that white noise sound. So it sounded like that, and sometimes when I mute the headphones, it actually helps and it makes the noise go away. But this time it didn't, so I had to work like that, and I had to ask for many many repetitions, and the provider was kind of getting annoyed. But I mean, it was either ask a lot of repetitions or just not interpreting correctly, right? And of course, I wasn't gonna do a bad job. So, I mean, it's not my fault that the connection was bad, right? And sometimes we have to work with things like that, and um, you could feel. Maybe I felt it. I don't know if it really happened. I cannot tell if it really happened, but I did feel like the doctor was getting annoyed. But I mean, it's just things that happen, right? You just have to roll with the punches, right? And yeah, just keep on moving on. I mean, um, maybe the connection was bad, but you can't let that get to you, right? You can't get frustrated. Um, Easier said than done. So moving on. The second thing that happened today, it was that I was speaking to a patient and a doctor, and we had a good conversation. Maybe uh, 5, 6, 7 minutes had gone by that we were talking, and then the wife showed up, and the doctor go turns over to me, and then she says, "Oh, this is Mr. So and so's wife. Would you mind telling her everything that we talked about?" And of course, just looked at her and I said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. I am not allowed to do that. I can only repeat what you said, but I'm not able to summarize anything that you have said before." And of course, the doctor understood. And she went ahead and she summarized for me, and I went ahead and interpreted it for her. And that was that. But yeah, this has happened many times. I mean, of course, you have to deny, first of all, because I mean, you're not going to remember everything that was said, and if you can, well, that's awesome, and you are awesome, and I wish I was like you, but I'm not. I'm not gonna remember. I can't even remember um, like most of the things. Like if the doctor said something and the patient said something, I'm not gonna remember what the doctor said before. I might remember some things, but to actually feel confident in actually giving an accurate rendition, I would have to say no. That's a definite no. And every time they ask me this, I always tell them the same thing. And it's weird how like there are doctors and they don't realize that I mean, you could be by doing that, you could be omitting information, giving false information. I mean, or minds, even though we take notes, I don't think they're that reliable after you already given your utterance and then you've heard another speaker. It's weird to me why they do that. Maybe they have very high expectations of us. But yeah, I would recommend for you to do the same thing and don't feel obligated to um, actually do that for someone. And I would advise against it, definitely. Okay, moving on. Something else that happened today was that, by the way, that's my grandma's dog that's been barking in the background, and she doesn't like me. And I'm living here with my grandma. I've been living here since the beginning of the year, and she never liked me even before that, and she doesn't like me still. So every time she sees me or she hears my voice, she just starts barking and doesn't stop. Moving on. Uh, so I was with an eye doctor, and then this is a new term that I learned today, and the eye doctor said narrow angle, and I didn't hear her very well, and then I asked, "I'm sorry, doctor, I'm not familiar with that term. You said marrow what?" And then she said, "No, not marrow, narrow," and then she said angle. So of course from that I already knew that it could have been something. The translation would be similar in Spanish, so I looked it up real quick, and yeah, that's the translation that I got. Ángulo estrecho. Whenever I'm not sure of something, I always like to look it up because sometimes you think something is like a literal easy translation, and then it turns out that there's like another word, like a special word for it in Spanish or in English, if it's the other way around. So if I'm not sure of something, I've learned my lesson, and it's always best to actually look it up and look it up as quickly as you can. Of course, if you are an in-person interpreter, they're not going to be able to do that. That's like a disadvantage that they have. But if you're over the phone or if you're in a computer and you're not sure of a term, I would advise highly that you actually go ahead and look up the term, because sometimes they just you believe that they're simple and it turns out that it's a completely different thing. So I would definitely advise that if you're not sure of something, even though the literal translation, as in this case, would be the same, or the real translation, I should say. Like in this case, some of the time that's not the case. So um, go ahead and look up the terms that you don't know, even if you are pretty sure that the translation is just like literal translation. For example, in this case, the translation for narrow angle is ángulo estrecho, and that's just not this condition. That's just like geometrical angle. If you say that, that's a narrow angle. In Spanish, you would say, oh, es un ángulo estrecho. So, of course, this condition is actually the same because it's actually referring to an angle inside of the eye. And I'm going to give you the whole two paragraphs of what is the angle and what is a narrow angle from Milani Center. Mil Oh my god, I can't believe I said that. Milani Center, but it's actually MilanEyeCenter.com. Oh my god, you guys make me nervous. Uh, all right, so what is the angle and what is the narrow angle? The eyeball is continually producing and draining fluid called aqueous humor. That doesn't sound very funny, but anyways, this aqueous humor is produced by cells that lie behind the iris or colored part of the eye. The fluid then circulates through the pupil into the front of the eye and drains out of the eye through a complex circular drainage structure in the angle. That is, the angle formed between the iris and the cornea, the clear front covering of the eye. Alright, so you learned that, guys? Now, let's see what a narrow angle is. In some eyes, this angle is more acute than usual and is called a narrow angle. Eyes with narrow angles are at risk of developing angle closure, in which access to the drain is closed off completely, and fluid is being produced in the eye, and fluid that is being produced in the eye is trapped and cannot escape the eye, leading to a sudden increase in eye pressure to dangerous levels, sometimes leading to permanent vision loss in a short amount of time. That sounds very bad, and this lady had that. Well, they suspected that she had that, and they were going to run more tests on that. So yeah, I definitely learned this thing. Like I'm telling you, I mean, this profession, you're gonna learn something almost every day. So yeah, that was it for the narrow angle. And now I am moving on to something that has nothing to do with interpretation, but is more about those little bits of joy that we get whenever we serve a patient. And I'm gonna talk about this. It was a brave little girl who was getting her dressing changed for a G2, and she was very awesome. She was great. I think she might have been two, maybe a little bit over two, maybe less, maybe more. I don't know. But she was very bright, man. Just from looking at her, she has some big old eyes, and she was just looking everywhere in amazement, just trying to identify everything. And so they had her undressed, and she had a big bandage or dressing, I should say, in her chest, and it was going all the way to her belly or around her belly area. And so as they were changing her dressing, the little girl wanted some gloves. So she actually had the nurse get some gloves and put it on her. So you have this little girl that's getting her dressing changed, and she has his little huge gloves on because she wanted gloves on, and she was actually pretending like she was helping the nurse and everything. So it was just so cute. It was just so adorable to watch, and it just made this session awesome. It just made it so great to actually see a little girl getting like really involved with her nurse, because um, you're probably used to little, like I know I'm used to, the little kids just going to room like with a doctor or a nurse and then just crying, and they don't even let the doctor touch them or the nurse or anything. So it was quite a refreshing change to actually see this little girl, like she was so excited to actually help the nurse and not scared at all. So you were awesome, little girl. You were great, and I hope you continue to be that way. And another thing is that when she was done and I was done and it was time to say goodbye, she actually waved at me and she said goodbye. So it just made me feel all warm inside and all nice. So yeah, that was something nice. That was like those little things that happen in our job that actually makes us feel very good about ourselves and about everyone else as well. And the nurse as well, she was awesome. She was just playing along with the little girl and everything. So yeah, good for them. I really loved that session. It was an awesome session. And I have another story to tell you guys. Really funny story that happened today. But before that, I'm gonna go from a question from one of our viewers, and her name is Jennifer Guirado. And she says, "Hello, I still haven't taken the certification exam yet. Can I still be hired? If so, please let me know some resources for Spanish. Thank you." And yeah, I mean, of course, you can be hired if if you don't have a certification yet. Of course, there are places that you need to be certified to actually go ahead and work for them. And if you're not certified, you are not going to be able to work for them. But there are other places that take interpreters that are just beginning, that have never interpreted before in their life, and they're giving them a chance. Of course, there's some places that take both. They take certified and not certified interpreters. But of course, if you're certified, you're gonna get paid more. And if you're not certified, you're gonna get paid less. And I believe, don't hold me accountable for this, I believe that if you're certified, there are more companies that are actually looking for certified interpreters and not certified interpreters. So if you're looking to actually uh, be an interpreter for the rest of your life, I would highly advise to getting certified. That way you could get much better jobs, and uh, you will be open to much more people wanting to actually hire you because you actually have like something that guarantees that you are a great interpreter, right? You have a certification and it shows that you actually know how to do your job. You're certified by an entity that guarantees that you know what you're doing, and a lot of people will hire you. On the other hand, if you're not certified and you're trying to go the solo route, well, people are just going to take a gamble on you. And honestly, I wouldn't take a gamble of someone if I really needed a certified interpreter. So you can see how that is going to, not being certified is going to give you less opportunities. So I would highly advise that you actually get certified if you're actually wanting to be an interpreter professionally for the rest of your life, right? Or for a big part of your life. And as far as resources, I really don't feel comfortable sharing resources here on the channel. Um, I don't know why, but one of the reasons is because I'm not getting paid to actually go ahead and promote them. So I'm not gonna do it. And number two, I've only worked for two companies, so I only have experience for the two companies that I've ever worked for as an interpreter. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's other people that can be more insightful than I can because of those two companies. And keep in mind that those two companies hire in Mexico, where I am right now. So that is my whole experience as an interpreter, just two companies. I've been working a little bit over 4 years as an interpreter, but I believe that my experience with companies is very limited, and I do not. It's not that I don't want to recommend the companies. It's just that I I don't know. Maybe there could be other companies that I don't know about that could be better for you. I'm not saying that the ones I work for are bad, but maybe there's something better that I don't know about, right? With my limited two companies that I've only worked for. So, having said that, go ahead and send us an email, Jennifer, interpretyourworld at gmail.com. And I will gladly share the two companies that I worked for. I know that they hire in the US as well. And I can share any other resources that I actually have, some Facebook groups that I am actually a part of, and they are really awesome for finding resources like this. So I'm sorry that I couldn't be more helpful, but yeah, if you go ahead and send me that email, I'll be sure to get back at you as soon as I can with all that information. So thank you very much for your question. And yeah, that is, well, no, I still have another story to talk about. Oh yeah, I remember now the really funny story. So, um, let me put this story in context. So, this was an old lady, and her memory was not all that great because she had been complaining that the doctors hadn't been checking her, but the nurse let her know that the doctors had indeed checked her, and she was there as a witness. And then the lady, like, she kind of wanted to believe her, but not really. She was like, I don't even remember that. So this was a lady that her mind was not very good. She was laying in bed, she was feeling bad, and it was like if she was tired, like it was hard for her to speak. So why am I saying this? Because she probably felt very bad from her illness, but even so, she managed to work um, all of her strength to actually talk to me. And she spoke to me directly once. It was a very quick question, and I answered her. And then she did it again, and I answered her. But then she did it a third time, and I did not feel comfortable enough to like answer her because I'm not supposed to talk to the patients, right? Or to the doctors directly, unless I actually break the I don't know what you would call a character, I guess. or I don't know. There's a word for it. It just slipped my mind. But anyways, so I because you're no longer an interpreter, right? You're having a conversation, so you have to break that. Damn, I don't even know what it's called. So yeah, you character, I guess, for a lack of a better word at this time. So I have to break character, and I have to stop being the interpreter, and I actually have to engage in a conversation. So after the third time, I didn't feel comfortable, so I actually told the nurse what was going on, and then she said, "Yeah, go ahead and answer freely. You don't need to even let me know." And I was like, "All right, not a problem." So then the lady asked, and then I answered her, and then the nurse kept on asking her questions and everything. And now I am going to let you know what the lady told me, like right at the end of the session in Spanish, and then I am going to go ahead and try to explain it in English in a funny way that doesn't take the funny away. I hope I can do that. So yeah, um, so then we were talking and everything, and then this lady all of a sudden she goes, she asked me, ¿De dónde eres, pelón? So, of course, hold on. Let me do this as if it was just a conversation. So, she goes, ¿De dónde eres, pelón? Y lo que yo le contesto, de México. Y ella se voltea a verme y luego me dice, no, eres pelón de la cabeza, pendejo. And I was like, damn, this lady got jokes. I was just like amazed that all of a sudden, like this really sick, old, ill lady, she still had, like, she couldn't even remember the doctor in the morning, but man, she had jokes for me. And so now let me tell you what she said in English. So in English, she actually goes ahead and she asks me, ¿de dónde eres, pelón? So that has two translations to that. Number one translation is, where are you from, Baldy? Now, translation number two could be, uh, where are you bald from? Right? So that's two different things, very different things, but that question can be interpreted both ways. So I actually went ahead and I thought that she was asking me, so where are you from, Baldy? And of course, I went ahead and I told her Mexico. But it turns out that's what she wanted me to do, right? It was a joke. She actually asked this question with two meanings so that I could actually go ahead and take the meaning. She was asking where I was from, but she was actually asking where I was bald from, right? So, of course, I fell into her trap and I told her that I was from Mexico, and her answer was like, "No, you're bald from the head, dumbass." So, I mean, I of course I laughed. I didn't even get mad. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even get mad because of her condition, and I mean, it was amazing. It was awesome. This had never happened before. So crazy old lady, she goes ahead and she tells me this joke. So I start cracking up, right? And I, I like I had to tell the nurse. I had to tell the nurse what had happened. So I went ahead and I told the nurse, and we all had a great laugh. And yeah, that was the end. And I got to say bye to the lady and everything. And yeah, the lady was awesome. So that lady made my day. And then I also had the call with the little girl afterwards. So it was an awesome day today. And you know, those are the joys. I mean, sometimes we have bad days, we have good days. Today was a really awesome day, and I am glad that I got those sessions. So it was just refreshing, you know, something out of the ordinary. And well, that's just our profession, right? It's like Forrest Gump, books with chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So yeah, and I've never really seen Forrest Gump. Can you believe that? So, anyways, that is pretty much it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Please leave your questions on the comments, and I will answer some of them on the next session. Remember, I'll be here every Monday through Friday after work. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe if you like the video and have not done so for more content. And don't forget to share. Happy interpreting. Goodbye.